You are watching Access LaPorte County Channel 97. Coming up next is the October 28th meeting for the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good morning. We're going to call to order the LaPorte County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board of Managers meeting for Tuesday, October 28th, 2025. May we have the roll call, please?
Yes. Before I start roll call, I'll just explain that on the table in front of you, should be close to everyone, is a different style. It's the agenda style that I had been using, and Jack asked me to clean it up because it just was kind of messy and crazy. But it is required by law that we do a posting that does show each of your names, terms in office, and by what entity you were appointed to the board. So we're covering all bases. The busier version is what's publicly posted before all of our meetings. So with that being said, I will take roll call. Laura Krentz? Here. Adam Konechny?
Here.
Martha King? Here. Pat Harris?
Here.
Becky Greenlaw? Here. Don Babcock?
Yeah, man.
Mike Sipes? Via Zoom. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
Diana Gonzalez?
Present.
Rich Grammerosa? We have a quorum in.
Thank you for that. As we open this meeting, first of all, welcome to the meeting and thank you all for coming. And we're wrapping up the year here. Got this meeting and a couple more. So very exciting times for us to look back at the year and take a look at what all wonderful things we've accomplished. So that's a wonderful thing. But under public comments this morning, we're going to have a special presentation. Brett and Scott are going to put this on for us, and we'll ask Brett and Scott to go ahead and proceed with their presentation.
Yeah.
Go on up, guys. We just wanted to take a couple minutes to recognize the EMA for what they do for all of us at the boat race. We appreciate everything without you guys, keeping us safe and taking care of traffic and all that fun stuff. But we appreciate it, and on behalf of the Visitors Bureau on my end, Brett,
and the Great Lakes Grand Prix golf outing on my end.
we appreciate it, and we'd like to give you guys this check for new equipment, however you see fit, but we appreciate everything you guys do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So while they're getting the pictures lined up, the proceeds for the golf outing historically have went to a charity, and for the last several years it's been EMA. And Officer Jesse, we appreciate all the work your department does, and of course the group that you help captain there to keep our city safe there during these events. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bert's head is cut off. What?
Away from the projector.
Yeah.
Brett has people on his forehead.
I'll say so. Not a good photo op.
Put it down a little bit. Put it down a little bit. She's not.
Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
Now we're ready. See me. Okay, all good. Thank you.
Would anyone like to make a comment from EMA? A response?
We don't do this for the recognition, we don't do this for the money, we do this for the pure love of our community. And these events wouldn't be possible without all of you guys' hard work, so thank you for everything that you guys do, and we're here to serve and help out so we can. Thank you.
Well, it's truly a partnership, and just on behalf of the board and the Bureau, and I know you've heard this before, but we really, really do appreciate what you do, and it's so important, and we know that you put a lot of work into it, and we don't take that for granted, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have our minutes for September that you've reviewed. And
Move to
I would
accept.
ask at this time for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
A motion by Don Babcock and a second by Diana Gonzalez. Do we have any questions or comments? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. For my report this morning, I just want to, first of all, just explain to you all that we're in the process of doing something different for LaPorte County. And one of the pieces that we've been working on, and you all are aware of, is the advocacy piece. You all attended the training, most of you anyway, and was very, very informative and educational for all of us to participate in that. And out of that came some ideas for moving forward. And we wanted to add on to our overall operations, the advocacy piece for the county. So in working with Josiah, we thought it'd be great to have a team specifically designated to that so we can give it the proper attention and focus that it needs. And I spoke with Don Babcock, and he's been carrying around a pom-pom for about 50 years now. He's gonna let him use it.
I tried to keep him up here. I want a picture of that.
So we're gonna try to let him use it, but I spoke with Don. He was very receptive to working with Jack and staff to head that up for the county. And so going forward, we're gonna get together, a meeting with Don, Jack, myself, and a couple other people, and kind of lay out what we're really looking at doing in that advocacy piece. And then we'll move forward with that. We'll keep you updated on it. Some of you, when you see my number, don't not answer it because I may be calling on you to assist. But we're very excited about this. This adds something to our county that I think we can. We've been doing it, but we can now take it to another level.
Yeah.
And that's what we're looking at.
We're doing a great job here, and it's really driving the community forward in a positive way relative to attraction and as well as quality of place. Those are things we all take for granted, and I think that we can all do a better job stepping out in a bigger way. So I'm glad to be part of it.
So we're going to be moving forward with that, and we will keep you updated on that. And we'll go right into our strategic planning update. And Dan's not here, so Jack is going to fill in.
Yeah, so Dan had an appointment, got switched at the last minute. He's actually probably on his way back from Indianapolis right now. We have a full day of meetings, and he's going to make it back, but he's going to miss this meeting. So I put in front of you all a 2026 business plan process. Dan and Pat and I have worked this through, and you can read it at your leisure, but basically what we're trying to do and what Dan and Pat have worked out is that instead of every month the staff reloading information that's on their plate, that's in their lane, and just spending constant time reloading and doing that, we're going to move that to quarterly reporting. And that's going to be, we're going to spend a lot less time shuffling papers and a lot more time spending our time doing what we're supposed to be doing. So there will be every month, you see the new pillars, or the pillars that are listed 1 through 8. Those will be listed on your agenda just like they are today. And there will be selective reporting from each one of those pillars on a regular monthly basis. Like today, Amy and I went through that. There's probably going to be 3 of them that we're going to report on. But quarterly, you'll get a report on every pillar and where every staff's at. But monthly, we'll do selective ones, if that makes sense. And just trying to clean up that process for you all and make it fit the planning, which is the first time in my tenure here that we've really tied everything in with the planning, the budget, everything. It's worked really well. And I can tell you, I'm going to report later under my report that it's helped in the budget process tremendously, made that so smooth. So, having said that, you've got this in front of you if you've got any questions, but basically we're just going to do the quarterly reporting as I explained, and then there'll be sporadic monthly updates on hot spots that we want to point out. Okay, so Pat, that's Dan's report for today.
Okay. Any comments?
Well, I can't help but chime in. I think the structure really does help, and it'll keep us on track. Particularly, especially since we have such a big budget, we always have kind of prying eyes. What are you guys doing? Do you actually have a plan that you're executing against, or do you just have this list of stuff that you do? And I think this creates the type of structure that we need to keep the board on track with the staff and the community. And it'll help even with our previous conversation here in terms of when we're out in the community talking about what we're doing, we can actually say, we have structure. There's a plan in place. We put the plan in place every year. It aligns with our budget. If you want to have some input into that, great. But this is our plan.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody else? This is exciting stuff. I know it's in you. I just have to let it come out. Don't hold it back.
She's so happy with this. You gotta be proud of her. You gotta hold it
I'm
back.
proud of this whole organization, you guys. I think it's wonderful. I've lived here most of my life, which is X number of years. And it's just wonderful to see us come to this point where we have this opportunity to move the community forward. Okay, with that, we're going to go right into our treasurer's report. Becky.
Okay. So for September 2025, total accounts payable of $139,733.62, with a total payroll of $70,755.10, for a grand total of $210,488.72. I will be passing for the board signature statements of financial position, the P&L budget performance, and the September bank account reconciliation and claim sheets.
Okay, you all had a chance to review those financials, so we're going to go ahead and ask for a motion to approve the treasurer's report and its complete of claims and financial statement.
I so move.
So moved.
Okay, Mike, we'll give you a motion on that, and we'll give Laura a second. You guys were kind of chiming in at the same time. We have a motion by Mike Stites and a second by Laura Prince to approve our treasurer's report as presented for September 2025. Any questions, comments? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that brings us right to our pillars. And we're going to let Jack and Amy,
Yeah, well, we're.
Dynamic duo.
Actually, Gail gets first shot.
Yeah.
First up is actually Gail to give us an update on the finance operation out of it.
Good morning again. As Jack mentioned, the budgeting process always kind of refocuses all of our attention to all the details of budgeting. And this year was no different, probably really more impactful because of the great work and leadership we have, having just gone through some sessions of planning with the help of Josiah and leaders at the table and in the community. So a couple things also occurred this month, or within the last month, that are important both to budgeting and to our financial picture in general. And the first of which is a very positive item. We received a notice of a health insurance rebate that the Bureau had been awarded. This is a premium rebate for year 2024, and it is because the Affordable Care Act requires insurance companies to rebate part of the premiums it receives if at least 80% of the premiums are not spent on claim payments and/or prevention programs, and no more than 20% of the insurance group policy premium paid may be spent on administrative costs. So no more than 20% can be paid towards administrative costs. And that includes the costs of plans such as salaries, sales, and advertising. So we passed those two priority listings, and together, our medical loss ratio standard, or the 80-20 rule, to which the United Healthcare company must comply. We are in that group made up of other like employers, with like-sized staff lists and policy coverages, which are very generous and a great benefit to all of our employees. And we spent only 76.5 of policy dollars on the allowed services. That was from 22 to 24. That was determined by United Healthcare's publicly shared information and their audit that they must go through. And therefore, we received a check totaling about $6,700, which we then in turn apply to our next premium notice. So it's a nice amount of money that does a couple things for us. Certainly it pays forward to our next premium, but it also reminds us that our benefits are very important to our greatest tool, greatest asset, which is the staff. And we're in good shape as far as following the letters of the law as far as what should be an efficient and effective spend.
To your knowledge, is this the first time we've gotten the rebate?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I think it also speaks to staff and the health of our staff too, that they're not.
And to the Affordable Care Act
Right.
guidelines,
Right.
which is probably good for a great number of employers.
Yes.
You stay efficient and effective with your spends, you're rewarded. So, yes, thank you.
Good deal. Thank you.
And it kind of runs right along with that statement, in that we've just received our renewal kit for our healthcare coverage, health plan. And with the changes that we've had in our staff over the last year or so, we have more folks. But these young'uns probably are helping us, because now our across the board age is a tad lower. And that's very helpful. And moving.
I don't know if I like that.
We have it on our plate.
Yeah, I know.
Speaking for me. So, moving into 2026, it has created a situation that is very positive for us. We have newer staff that will have the outcome that our same excellent coverage will not be diminished, but it also will not result in higher premiums for us. And you all know that that's a big budget line item.
Right.
And it's very important that we do everything we can to keep those benefits strong, as well as keeping a real close eye on premiums. So that was my happy report.
All right, thank you, Gail. Any questions on any of that? As you all know, everyone is having problems with being hacked, having our stuff looked at. We know what the city just went through. Will knows very well what happened to the city, and it was devastating. We've had 2 or 3 hacks here, a couple of them at a serious level. And so we have investigated protecting ourselves a little bit better. I've asked Bill to research that and give an update. Would you do that, please?
Yeah, so we would like to, in 2026, purchase a cyber insurance policy to coincide with our current policies that we have in place. In this policy, the coverage would be up to $1 million on any sort of cyber liability, similar to what the city experienced. Would cover everything from lawyer fees to any sort of outside sources that have to be entertained and brought in to help mitigate any potential crimes against us, like our servers being taken over and such. Also in that policy, it'll cover up to $250,000 on any sort of like phishing scams, any sort of financial loss directly to us as an entity. So for roughly $1,456.53 a year, that would be our total premium for the year. We would end up with $1 million plus in coverage. So I think it would be of a huge benefit given the climate and people are out there to get that quick buck by preying on the weak. And it's unfortunate that we even have to have this conversation, but it's the world we live in. And
Exactly.
so I personally would think that would be of a huge benefit for us.
And today's, just an FYI, this is incorporated into the budget line item for 26, so you'll get a chance to actually vote on that next month, the budget line item, but we're folding that right into the budget, yeah.
So the related expense, so it's $1,500 for that, which is to me a good spend.
Yeah.
Is on the prevention side. I'm assuming we have Norton, or what analysis do we do to prevent? I mean, I assume there's a line item relative to IT on that too.
Yeah, we have all kinds of stuff in place with firewalls and such, and our IT group is constantly focused on reviewing the access to our servers just to make sure that there's no loss of data or anybody out there that's trying to pry and get our information from those servers.
Yeah, they've done a good job. Blue Streak, the company we've hired, they've done a really good job keeping us abreast of this. There's only so much you can do. These guys.
Right, and we have a big budget, and there's a lot of personal information with the staff and other things here.
Yeah,
that is important.
It goes with that, yes.
So we're just trying to keep up with the attacks that are out there, and just maybe keep this won't prevent it. What Blue Streak is doing will help prevent it a lot.
It's prevention. This is just
an insurance policy, literally.
Yeah. But it all goes together.
Any questions, Bill? Okay, so Gail and I just alluded to the budget. Pat just finished working with me on a couple things. Probably this afternoon or tomorrow, I'm going to get you all a copy of a proposed budget with a narrative, and then we've got a whole month to work it out between the next meeting. Our idea is to get it passed the November meeting, because we don't always accomplish the December meeting because of the holiday. And so it'd be ideal if we could. It's not the end of the world if we have to move it to January, but ideal, Pat's planning to put it on November, right?
Right.
So I'll just simply say that because of the direction we got through the planning process, it made this budget so easy. And because of we didn't make any changes in our planning from 25 to 26, because we're just moving into a new year. You're only going to see 2 new line items on the budget, and they're both really small. There's not a lot of additions. We had enough incorporated to keep us on track so far. We made 2 adjustments on the budget for that, and then the narrative will explain all that. I'll get it out to you and let you all look at it, and then Gail and Bill and I and Amy and all of us who have worked on this process be wide open for any follow-up meetings.
I just want to add to that part right there. When you get that information, this is a very important part, and I know you know that, but this is very important for us to chime in now. This helps staff a lot. So with your questions, because our staff is outstanding, they can answer the questions, but it's just making you comfortable with approving a budget of this size. So for your own comfortability, I would say, when you see it, call staff.
Let us know.
That's why they make the big bucks. They
Oh, boy.
answer your questions.
That recording works.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
So on that, any questions on the budget? Otherwise, I'll try to get it out here in the next day or two to everybody. Just to pat us on the back a little bit, I think you all might recall that spreadsheet that we put together that Chris manages for us that lists the events for the year. It lists the attractions, and it also lists the blue chip meetings. So I just was working some numbers up for LaPorte, City of LaPorte the other day, and year to date so far on sponsorships and partnerships, we've put $1 million back into the county so far under sponsorship, and you can go to that spreadsheet.
Great.
Chris is gonna resend it to you now, because the one you have is not updated.
Yeah.
And it'll reflect new events that are not, but, I got the breakdown by City of LaPorte, City of Michigan City, and the county, but, the numbers are really great for, and there's more coming. We're still a couple months left on this. So, real happy with that, to be able to report that. On November 3rd, that's next Monday, the LaPorte City Council is going to have us do a presentation to the Lake Association. Some of you may have gotten wind of this. I've tried to share it with a couple of people, but we got a request through Judge Dahlbrink, actually, who serves on the Lake Association Board, to see if we can help them with the milfoil issue. It's a huge issue, and we have helped in the past on a very limited scale. But you guys will recall last year you approved a special appropriation for us. There was several things involved. Most of it was Josiah and some of that. But we also, out of that $100,000, we earmarked 50 for quality of life, quality of place stuff, because we knew we were going to run over in that budget line item. We always do. That's what we do. And Gail came back and said, hey, we still got money in that we didn't spend. So we made the real easy decision to tell the Lake Association we're going to give them $25,000 out of that special under quality of life, quality of place, which is a really great thing. So we're going to do the presentation at the city council meeting next Monday. So please, if you can attend, that would be great. Tom's putting us on the first on the agenda Monday night, if you'd like to be there for that. But that's a great thing we're able to do, and I appreciate Gail figuring out how to pay that, so we didn't have to work it out of this year's budget or try to put it in next year's budget. She found that money sitting there waiting on us to spend. So we did it. So that's that. State of the City of LaPorte is the 18th, and you'll find a lot of data that they're going to put up that reflects what we're doing for the city. So if you're available to come to that, you do need to get ticketed on that event. I think our table might be full, but if anybody wants, okay, Gail's telling me there's 2 seats left, so if anybody on the board, we'll hold them. I reached out to a couple of you, but
Should be a little more fun too. It's a reception, so.
yeah.
That helps.
So that's the 18th. And then lastly, to NITDC, we've had hiring a lobbyist through them, and we haven't had to put any money as a lobbyist for LaPorte County. And now that we're managing that was going to continue, hopefully. Well, our lobbyist from last year is not coming back. I'm not sure why. That was a recommendation of our advisory board. And we were debating hiring a lobbyist for this short term coming up, because it's really a short session and everything's really volatile right now. You see special sessions been called for next week, and there's all kinds of things happening in that arena that are very political. And so there's probably not going to be a lot of things happening in this short session except fighting back and forth and a little bit of that stuff. The whole process they're working at. So anyway, we had a meeting the other day of our advisory board where Tom, Mayor Dermody, co-chairs. Long story short, he volunteered to represent us. He's not a licensed lobbyist,
Right.
but during the 26th year,
So
he's
free
going to.
coverage. This is a top industry magazine, both in print and digital. So I'm just gonna pass this around so that you can all take a look at that. And then I wanted to give a quick visitor's guide update. I know I shared some information last month, so some of this is a bit repetitive, but the Herald Dispatch wrapped up sales. They wrapped up sales last week. They said they had a very good year. I'm waiting on some of those numbers, but that's good news. Our staff is finalizing stories. We're editing content currently and also working on the layout with our partnership with the Sarah Group on that. As far as the timeline goes, again, I know I told you this last month, but we will be done with this in early December, and then it will go to print and be ready for distribution at the beginning of January. And then through our Dig the Dunes partnership, Heroes Museum and Arcade, which Werner's here to talk about today, so we're really excited to hear more about that. They were featured in their newsletter, which was sent out to over 4,000 subscribers, and that was last week. And then through fall promotions, we highlighted several local partners with apple picking, pumpkin picking, all the fall festivals, the Michigan City, LaPorte, South County festivals. And we did that through our local radio spots, commercials, our social media, website, online calendar, and then also through NITDC, Indiana School North newsletter, and some of those blogs. And then it's also LaPorte Invitational time, so I don't know if everyone has it on the calendar, January 9th to the 11th. I thought for sure you were going to steal my thunder on that. So put that down. The City of LaPorte's launching a new website. It's supposed to come out at the end of this week, hopefully Thursday, Friday. It's LaPorteInvitational.com, and the ticket sales are going to come out the same day. So again, watch for that. And then we are also going to continue our partnership with ESPN 1000 to promote that, and Jack, Chelsea, and I are working on finalizing a promotion plan that will come out shortly. And that's basically it for me. And then Robbie's going to carry on with some data information.
Yeah, most of my stuff's NITDC at the bottom. I guess I can go now if you want, or.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay.
Sorry, he switched the
So I
order.
printed out some extra reports, but I got in a battle with the printer this morning and didn't get all of them out, so.
Win the battle.
You can pass those out. If you didn't get a hard copy, I'll make sure everyone has a digital copy when they leave here today if you have a hard copy one. But coming off our advocacy meeting with Josiah, and one of the big takeaways is the importance of the toll road, and really knowing how to, tell our message and understand how important of an asset it is for our industry. And we've known that for a while through surveys and stuff like that we've done, but we've never really been able to put the hard data behind it and show the level of impact the toll road has in our communities. And so that's what this report does. It's kind of a long report, and I'll just walk you through it pretty quickly. But what this shows is, 8.2 million people stop at our travel plazas on the toll road. And when they stop there, they don't treat it like a normal rest stop. They treat it as a travel experience. They're not there for 10 minutes going to the bathroom, filling up, and getting back on the road. They're there at these travel plazas for almost an hour. So these people, the average stop time is about 48 minutes. And so they're taking their time. They're resting their legs. They're checking out our welcome centers and really getting to see the area, because they are receptive to more advertising opportunities. They want to see what's in the area. And our focus is making sure we can provide that for them. And so you can see on the second page, we have...
I have a question.
Yeah.
You have here two of the most influential plazas.
Yeah.
Those are right here in LaPorte County.
Those are in Rolling Prairie. So we have two plazas in Rolling Prairie.
County.
Yeah. So I'm pulling the data on those plazas and showing you almost 15% of the visitors who visited LaPorte County stopped at that travel plaza at one point. That doesn't count as a LaPorte County visit.
No, I thought that was the most influential on the whole toll road. That's why I was asking.
It is. We'll get to that. The rolling
big. That's big, and we want to make sure we highlight that in this conversation.
Yes, our top two plazas are the two Rolling Prairie plazas, and then our third highest performing plaza is one in Howe, which is the first plaza you hit when you come into the state in Ohio, and then fourth is our first plaza you hit down here in Portland. But so Rolling Prairie is a huge influence on travel, especially to our region. And when you look into the LaPorte County data, and you look at some of the top 10 places. So this is looking at the whole country. Everyone who visited out of market and stopped in LaPorte County, you look at all the other places they have in common. Like number one is O'Hare Airport. Well, that's pretty common for every destination or area, because most people, when they travel, they're going to O'Hare. So we all have that in common. But our travel plazas are in the top 10 for LaPorte County. I believe it's number 3 and number 7. Which shows up on page, number 5. So yeah, the new Rockney Plaza is number 3 and Wilbur Shaw is number 7. So those are over top destinations all around the country. They're showing, people are stopping there, and then they are coming to our county. And we can finally put those numbers together. And we have the breakdown. I of the two different plazas here, the Wilbershaw and New Rockland Plaza. I can show the top, where these people are the top connected destinations. They're going to the Indiana Dunes, they're going to the different malls, they're going to Wrigley Field. We can really just see all the different places they're going and we rank among some of the top destinations in the region. And it just shows how powerful, this area is. And so you can feel free to look through this and kind of get an idea. I tried to break this apart section by section, but it's 8 pages, so it's a lot to kind of take in. And you look at our exits, our travel exits, what is it? Sorry, got ahead of myself a little bit. I want to dive into the exciting stuff. But yeah, so 5 million visitors are coming in through one of our 2 toll road exits every year. And that is of the 24 million people that visit. And there's a huge, and you look at the demographic who's using these toll booths, the highest demographic is the power elite. Those are the heavy spenders coming in from Chicago. Those are the top 1%ers. Those are the people we want to talk to. Those are the people that are coming in and seeing the community for the first time on boat race weekend and then deciding to come back again and again. So that is the real market and so we're hitting the right market. We're talking to the right people. So we just can't, underestimate the importance of this roadways. And on the final page, I have some key takeaways that Placer helped put together for us. But yeah, we're speaking to a market of 8 million. We're speaking to a market of 8 million people, and these are qualified people. Like Josiah said in the advocacy, these aren't just 8 million random people. These are 8 million people with a car who travel in our region. And so this is the most qualified market you could possibly ask for than just sending some ad through Chicago, even though we know how powerful that is. So we can't underestimate how impactful these are, and our exits are benefiting because of it. And in this last year, we've upped our presence. I've worked with Amy to really push our shopping as the #1 shopping destination off the toll road, and I can show we have numbers. I won't claim it's all because of us, but shopping has gone up this year, and as total stops coming off the toll road, and there is a slight bump there. So the opportunity's there. We're trying to take advantage of it. We're going to keep fighting to make sure we can continue to use that space. But so yeah, let me know if you need more of these reports or anything, or if you have any questions. Like I said, this stuff's confusing. The data, the terminology is confusing. So just let me know.
Okay, so Don, I'll let you go, but I'm over here. Go ahead.
So I'm a little surprised it's not on the list here.
Hold on. Mike,
Yeah.
did you say something?
In a related matter, have you had a chance to look at any of the data from the results of the county fair? I know they're interested in giving a breakdown of the effect of that the fair had on our community.
Yeah, I have that report. I don't have those numbers off the top of my head, but I can share that with you relatively shortly.
The procedure, Mike, is once he goes and gets it, then we vet it here and we talk about it, and we'll, just like today, we'll get it back to you. Yep.
Has to be back.
Would you get it back to the fair board?
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yep, I can get that to you shortly. No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, Don, go ahead.
Sure, no, all good. I'm surprised, maybe it's mixed in here somewhere, I don't see the casino on the list.
Yes.
So
the reason why the casino doesn't pop up, and when you're looking at top 10 most attractions, like if you look at any destination, you're not going to see a casino in the top 10. And that might even include like some of the big casino hotspots, just because that's a 21 and older establishment. So like people aren't stopping there as frequently as a very defined audience. But like if you look at LaPorte County's visitor data, even despite, that going against it, Blue Chip's in the top 20. I think it's number 11th most visited attraction in the whole county. And it's in the top 10 for just Michigan City alone. But we're looking, when you look across all industries like gas stations, Chick-fil-A's, these places that get high traffic, repetitive volume, those are typically what shows up in your top 10. So the fact that we're able to break that, break through all of that noise is just that much more impressive.
it's nice to hear that, so you got Lighthouse in here, more or less 1 million.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the casino was in the 1 million, 2 million range also, so
Our data doesn't show that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just asking.
Yeah, you know, that's kind
And
of
this is looking
surprising
at out
us
of
too.
market, and this is also looking at out of market. So if like a bunch of residents are going to blue chip, like they wouldn't show up in the stats.
Okay.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, blue chip does get a good share of out of market, especially when you compare it to other casinos in the region, like South Bend, for example. Like South Bend, they're pretty much 90% of their traffic is South Bend. We're pulling from all over the Northwest.
So more to come on the data stuff. We just wanted to give you guys a little bit idea of what we had a meeting actually later on today to define some new data and go through it, and there'll be more coming. Trying to figure out how to best use it. So, the last update that I have for you all is the most important heads in beds, correct?
Well, good news, once again, for the month of September. Overall, we're up 3% for the month of September, which puts us up about 6% on the year so far. That's innkeepers collected through the end of September. Unfortunately, the numbers are very new for September right now on the county level, so we do not know like who's missing and who hasn't paid, those type of things. I would like to add on to that conversation too. We've had some luck with one of our problem properties. The treasurer's office has had some connection with them through letters that have been sent. Still waiting on some payments. But we do believe the process with the treasurer's office has been streamlined. Communication has been great, and they are now enacting like a progressive reinforcement of the innkeeper's tax collections. Some of our properties have kind of, I think, viewed it as pay when we can, and the treasurer's office is letting them know that that's due monthly. And most importantly, now the word penalty is going to be used, and it's in the statutes for the collection of innkeepers that there is a penalty, and the treasurer's office is sending out letters to all the properties to let them know that penalties will be introduced if delinquencies and arrears continue, which we think is great. As partners, we're trying to get the word out just because we want to help our hoteliers be aware of the situation. We don't want them to be blindsided, and also, it's a mutually beneficial relationship that we try to keep with them. Not only are we partners, we're advocates for them as well, and we just want to make sure the understanding is clear. We believe we're going to be up for the year. I believe Jack has pretty much taken that into account, and we always try to be conservative. Jack tries to be a little aggressive, but we feel confident that the numbers are good. The one thing I will share too is this is definitely a month where third-party rental innkeeper's tax collection has greatly exceeded the hotels. So we'll keep an eye on that. Our third-party rental committee is going to be meeting again in November. We're putting together some marketing materials that will probably come to fruition in early 2026, Amy, you think?
Mm-hmm, yes.
But we've got a great relationship with that. One thing to add too, we did do hotel visits this month. Great feedback from everyone. Some of the things we caught, just so the board is aware, is a few of our hotels, especially in the LaPorte area, are missing some corporate business, specifically from railroads. Repeat business from last year, long-term stays, so the impact on us should be minimal, hopefully, because we do not collect innkeepers on anybody that stays over, is it 30 days, Jack?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it 31?
30.
30? Okay, and then the September also should have been off a little bit because we only had 2 Notre Dame home games. October, hopefully we'll see a little bounce back in Haskell.
Interesting.
That moves the needle. Notre Dame home game absolutely moved the needle, big time.
Especially with ADR. Average daily rates go up significantly when Notre Dame plays. And we also did a good study, and I think I reported on this last month. The Great Lakes Grand Prix had like a 30 to 40% bump on that weekend for ADR compared to normal weekends. So that's very impactful for us. You know, you can only build so many hotels so many times, but if
Our partners at Beach Walk, thank you. are gonna blow it out of the water again. They are huge partners for us. And they've stepped up big time with our hotel committee and with our third-party rental committee to help us guide us.
I'm glad you're connected with them, because I think they are the number one or the largest, if you will not.
I guess I should have thrown this in, Jack. We did have a meeting with Beach Walk, got some great ideas. They've allowed us now, we're delivering our visitor guides to their housekeeping facility.
Nice.
Where everyone gets their orders and goes out and does their cleaning. So Amy, Chris, and myself all went there last Thursday, I believe. We took like 6 cases of visitors guides, I believe, and delivered them to them, and they're gonna take them specifically to their rental properties.
And they manage a lot of properties outside of just Beach Walk as well, and they also have properties in LaPorte, so they've got a lot of properties.
I think they had over, 140 properties managed within LaPorte County?
Yeah.
And they're not all just at Beach Walk.
Right,
So that you all know that too. They're
Yeah.
spread
Right.
out.
Oh, yeah, no, I understand. I
Yeah.
just,
No.
They're large.
I'm telling,
oh, excuse me, yeah.
we have a major opportunity in that area to really do some wonderful things. I'm glad to hear that relationship is really being massaged.
All right, any questions on that? That concludes my report, Pat.
All right, do we have any unfinished business that we need to share with the board and the public at this time? If not, we'll go right into our presentation for Heroes at the Mall presentation. And Jack is going to introduce this.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna have Dale do it, but I just wanted to remind you all that from time to time, we have some of our partners talk to us about how they could like to bring their presentation to the board, so we could share it with you. We meet with them all the time, we work with them, and we thought this was a great idea to bring Heroes here. And we're gonna actually, as soon as this meeting's over, we're all packing up, we're gonna go do a tour of the facility before we move into our staff meeting today. So it's a perfect timing. So Dale has put together an introduction, so would you mind doing that, please?
Yeah, so I'd like to introduce you to Warner Graff for those of you who haven't met him yet. He's the owner of Heroes Arcade Museum out at the White House Outlet Mall through the Graff Jerry Hero Foundation. It's a unique 501(c) organization dedicated to promoting traditional values, habits, and character of our youth. Warner's on a mission to inspire and educate kids to adopt heroic qualities by harnessing kids' love and natural interest in superheroes. He also wants to help instill a heroic mindset and cultivate habits of character to improve personal success and a healthy society. He's been collecting for over 50 years of his exhibits for superhero memorabilia. He has a new 7,000 square foot venue out at the Outlet Mall, and it's open to the public now. And it's a wonderful place to take kids of all ages. And it's a self-sustaining charity. You have to pay to get in a very small fee. And that way you don't have to rely on grants or ongoing donations. It's self-sustaining. So everybody, Warner Grant.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation, Jack and the board, to present. We opened in May, and since then we think we validated the business model. As the very gracious introduction, and my mother couldn't have written it better. Thank you very much. And I had nothing to do with it. I don't know how you pieced it together, probably website and so on, but we think we validated the business model, and it's true. We're trying to build a 501(c)(3) that is a net addition to the region in a number of different ways. And what I'll do is do an overview of the 3 ways that we think we can benefit the community, and we think in benefiting the community it also becomes an attraction for Michigan City. So all the other things that you're talking about today, we feel we can play a part in bringing people into town, bringing capital into town, and I'll go over that a little bit. So. Quickly, I had a huge collection, and it's no longer mine, by the way. It's now the charity's, and we have a very good board of directors. We are a a talent-rich board and a very staff-light charity. We have basically paid out since our inception about $7,500 to volunteers, but it is volunteer-run. We don't do W-2s. We don't do contractor status. All we do is we give kids and other people in the community the ability to come in, at times that are convenient for them with no obligation. And then we can either compensate them via a stipend, or in the case of kids from the school system, as I'll go in later, they can get service hours. And those are very important to them these days because a lot of them are required and they're very good for college applications and so on. And like I said, I'll hit that a little bit later. But the collection I had, it turned out to be worth a lot of money because I've been collecting for 50 years. And I was at that point, as a lot of collectors get to, is trying to figure out what to do with it. Do you transfer it to your children? Do you piece it out and try to sell it? And what I decided to do is something a little bit different. I grew up in Michigan City and Edgewood. My grandparents came off the boat, from Germany and settled on the east side. And we've been a part of this community for a long time, even though I moved away for business and went to Notre Dame and so on. So I was happy to hear about those tourism dollars that Notre Dame is driving. And I'll pass my condolences along to IU again for this year if we get into the playoffs. We've always had my brother and sister too. We moved out, but we always had an affection and an affiliation with Michigan City, and I'm spending a lot more time here. So the collection got moved into the charity. Our trial run for the for the presentation to see whether it held interest in the community was at Lebesnick. We were the summer exhibit, the 2024 Lebesnick Art Show, and we ended up driving record traffic. They won't give us the particular numbers, but all the anecdotal data, all the data from the receptionists there, they said they really hadn't seen crowds like that for a lot of Lebesnick exhibits. So we were very gratified about that. It told us we were on the right track when they formed the board. And our board, like I said, it's a very accomplished board. We have a past CEO from Marvel Comics on our board, for example, a lot of the most prominent collectors. And then we mix that in with local successful leaders like Miley's Tucker, who owns Nature's Cupboard, and so on. So with validating the business model, we were contacted by the mall. They said, you're driving great foot traffic over there. We think you might have a place here. And our initial reaction was, well, we really can't afford you. 6 months later, we negotiated a deal that we thought we could handle because, again, we had no staff, right? So we're building this as we go. We're making it up as we go along. But already in our first 4 months, we've generated $52,000 in gate receipts. So again, we think we validated the model. We're going to go into some lean months because we're the beneficiaries of the summer traffic at the mall. So we need to make a pivot now from mall traffic to local support. We need families to understand that this is a great place for birthday parties, a great place for a rainy day to bring the kids, different events and so on. And even though we don't want grants, to be our primary source, we haven't applied for any grants except for 2, which we didn't get, I think, because we're new. Largely it's a hard concept for people to grasp. But we do need to start building some of those alternative channels to be viable over the months where that place is more barren, of foot traffic. So the 3 ways that we benefit the community is, first and foremost, our charter, like you said, is to build character with today's youth. The exhibit is specific to the 60s and the 70s and some of the 80s. When I grew up, and the characters were very black and white, right? They were good versus evil. There wasn't much nuance. There wasn't much, the graphic nature of the comic books was very light. The Comic Code Authority had a bit of a hold on it and kept the cursing down, and the costumes a little bit more conservative and so on. So it was very wholesome, to come home and you're 9 years old, 10 years old back in that era. And those messages reinforced your family and your church and so on. And so that era is what we primarily focus on. And all the kids love superheroes, so we use that as kind of a gateway drug for conversations about things like philosophy and heroism and history and real life heroes and such. The second thing we do is we bring dollars in from Michigan City. 70% of that mall traffic that I talked about is from out of town, according to the mall statistics. So everybody that drops $10 to come in over there from Valpo and from, Benton Harbor and all the way up to Wisconsin and Cincinnati. We get people from St. Louis. They're bringing money into Michigan City because eventually it's a pass-through charity at the end of the day, and every dollar that we have over and above expenses is going to go back to the community. And then the third thing is we provide that service opportunity for the kids, and in so doing, we provide retail skills, right? You're bringing in, 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds, and they have to make an elevator pitch because the people that are coming into the store are expecting a store a lot of time. They're not expecting to spend a half hour or 45 minutes in an arcade, see an art gallery, see a toy museum. And so for them to be able to make that pitch convincingly is a skill that they have to build. And then there's other skills like marketing that we're letting them get involved in, web content management, being true docents where they can walk around and present part of the exhibit and so on, and cash register management and POS skills. So again, on the heroism thing, we support the 7 habits of character for the school system. We do that for the Christian virtues for the Catholic school system. One of the benefits that I'm finding in operations is that the volunteers that we're drawing are from both school systems. So it's one of the few overlapping areas that kids get to intermingle with kids from a whole different ecosystem. The teaching opportunities, we tie in, like I said, historical models, a lot of figures in history. For example, the history, and I use Captain America throughout this as a thread, but the history of the Declaration of Independence, we talk about Captain America, and then we'll talk about John Hart, who signed the Declaration of Independence, who was a real-life superhero. The British confiscated his farm, scattered his family, lived in a cave for 3 years. His wife died while he was in hiding, during the Revolutionary War. And so kids, they hear about Captain America, they love him. We start that conversation, but by the end of a 6-minute, overview of Captain America, they've learned about the Declaration of Independence, the bicentennial. They've learned that next year is our 250th anniversary. They learn about John Hart. They learn about Philadelphia. They learn about the Liberty Bell. And it's all very agreeable to them because they're listening about Captain America and all that other stuff they get by osmosis. We talk about the business aspect of the comic book industry. So this is one example, but one of the unique things about the collection is that it holds a lot of comic industry historic memorabilia. So for example, we don't collect just the toys, like these are 1966, what they call flyers, but we also show what the advertisement looked like that the kids would have seen as they opened up, a magazine back in 1966 and actually got exposed to this toy and decided to go out to buy it. And you know how kids are today. Everything's CGI, everything's digital, everything's on your phone. They go into this thing, as you guys are going to see later, it's just an array of eye candy. I mean, they have to be in the now to absorb it. There's pinball machines that are very, mechanical and physical, and it's a lot different than the entertainment that they get and the exposure that they receive today. And it's a great merging of that too, because they're using their phones to film, the eye candy, and then with that, they're getting inspired. So every station, and I'll show it to you when we get there, but every station that we have, you can see the freedom above Silver Surfer. All the stations have a certain positive attribute or habit of character or a virtue associated with them. And when the kids take their selfies in front of the statue garden, they always are going to get that virtue in that selfie with them. So again, just kind of by osmosis, we talk about how Silver Surfer was a slave to Galactus, and then you can't see it in this particular frame, but if you move just to the right, and I'll show it to you for the folks that are coming on the tour, we have a big picture of Frederick Douglass talking about the value of freedom of speech. And so we talk about the Constitution, how that's the first thing in the Bill of Rights. Frederick Douglass, like John Hart, is the real-life superhero who was an abolitionist, and just like Silver Surfer, who was a philosopher in the comic books, Frederick Douglass was an intellect and a philosopher. He debated the merits of slavery versus an economic model. He made people consider the fact that the country didn't have to have slavery. They could survive without it and so on. And so we go into that. But the whole idea about these pictures here is to show you how kids react, right? Our fundamental belief is that every kid comes out of the womb wanting to do good, right? And by the time they got a gun in their hand and they're 19 years old, something's happened from that time that they were born to that time where they're making a bad decision, where, their mentality has gotten warped, all right? Sometimes it's subtle. Sometimes they're told that the country sucks or it's oppressive or whatever. So, it erodes their faith and their culture and so on. So we're trying to be a counterbalance to that, but we're also trying to get them in their core to think that you don't have to have a cape, you don't have to have a superpower, you don't have to fight a supervillain. The reason a hero is because of the way that they conduct themselves. And every day you can get out of bed in the morning, and on all those little decisions, you can conduct yourself that way, and you can be a hero in your own right. All right, a hero for your community, you can be a positive force. So maybe as those other culture, tentacles are wrapping around over the course of their development, something like that shines through and they make a decision they want to act a different way. And on the service, dollars for the region, those dollars come in, we bring right back to the school system. And other thing, we have some bills to pay, we got some debt to drive down. Once that's all done, it's all gravy. And it's all going to come right back into Michigan City. We're cutting checks to the school system. This is the wrestling team, for example, because Tay is one of the volunteers. He gets his service hours. But as we give other volunteers a $10 stipend, we assign $5 an hour to all the hours that Tay put in there, and that check went to the wrestling team. And same thing with Hayden here. She did it for the Quiz Bowl team at Marquette. These are volunteers that they get paid, so they don't get that extra benefit, that extra exposure. But the development that I've seen in Evan and Arissa especially, Arissa graduated from Michigan City High School 2 years ago. She's 20 years old. Looking for a job, she needs extreme flexibility. That's us, right? She can't punch a clock. She's got other obligations. Sometimes they have some things in their background where they're not really as hireable, but if we see that there's raw material, if we see that they got the right attitude, we're going to give them a shot. And again, there's no obligation, right? If it doesn't work out, there's no hiring and firing by the charity. We just say, well, we can't get your hours. And in the case, and I don't mind sharing this, I don't think that they would mind, but with Arissa and her boyfriend Darian, they came in, and then I took a look at their Facebook, postings, and I said, look, guys, you came in, you had the initiative to come in and ask. I think you're good kids, but your Facebook postings represent you. They don't just represent you, they represent your family, they represent the community. And now, if I put you behind the desk here, they represent this place, right? So I'm not telling you how to live, but I want you to take a look at what you posted. And because they were writing rap songs, and it was vulgar, and it was, pictures of them sticking their tongues out of their mouth. They said, but I want you to take a look at it, and I want you to change your Facebook in a way that you could represent this place if you want to act here. And to their credit, a week later, they both came in. I looked at their Facebook. They cleaned it all up, and they have been a joy to work with since that point. So, and there's other little side benefits too. Like Arissa, I had her sign something. It was all block letters, and I said, there's a personal branding opportunity in your signature. So would you want to work with me on taking a look at how you have a beautiful name? Maybe we can make it a more beautiful signature, right? She, well, they never taught me cursive in school. Well, we can do that. You don't have to learn all cursive, but let's at least get your name so you can sign a bank document, and that type of thing. So those are the kind of little benefits that that come along with it. So that's it. I just wanted to say thank you again for giving me an opportunity. I look forward to seeing everybody over there. Great presentation. I do have one request. I need another 15 minutes. My mother broke her hip. I don't have coverage this morning. So I gotta go back, I gotta make sure she hits the bathroom and everything, and then I can run over to the museum. So it was supposed to be at 10. Can we make it 10:15, Jeff?
We'll be there. We'll be waiting on you. Take your time. Want to take care of Bob.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Well, that was excellent. Thank you so much. We have all these little gyms here in our community and things like this.
Thank you.
It's an opportunity to share it, so that's wonderful.
Yeah, we do that periodically, try to bring somebody in. Yeah.
All right, so with that, do we have any board comments at this time? Any follow-up to the heroes presentation? I think we all have a superhero inside of us that we can explore.
Hey, one quick one. Purdue Northwest, we will be supporting the Veterans Celebration with the city of LaPorte.
Yeah.
And we can help veterans get their degrees too, so that's part of the issue with that. We're glad to do that. So that's on Veterans Day, I think it's the 11th.
Where is
It's gonna be at the Civic Auditorium.
at what time?
I'm not sure exactly, it's a morning kind of thing.
Yeah, breakfast and then.
Civic Auditorium,
The Veterans Day?
Veterans Day.
Usually a
Is it 9:30 or
breakfast and then.
Give me 1 second, I'll find out.
Top of my head.
Well, we'll get that for
There's usually a
everybody's
breakfast
information,
though,
because
isn't
that's
there? And
something-
then they go
Yeah.
into the.
Coffee.
We
Yeah.
really have to appreciate our veterans for over the many hundreds of years that they've been great for this country. So if we have an opportunity, if I'm available, I definitely will be there. My husband is a veteran, so he reminds me. I have to remind him too that we're husband and wife. So that's
10:30.
10:30.
Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
They do donuts and coffee for vets in the lower level starting at 9:30.
Any other comments, announcements? Hearing none, great meeting, thank you all for being here. Our next meeting is November 25th, 2025, 8:30 a.m., same place, and we'll wish you all a very successful month, and we'll see you then.